गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं ववामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीतसादनम् ॐ श्री सद्गुरुमहागणाधिपतये नमः। नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात्। महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुख प्रचोदयात्। भूतनाथाय विद्महे भवपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नः शास्तः प्रचोदयात्। आदित्याय च सोमाय मंगलाय बुधाय च गुरुशुक्रशनिभ्यश्च राहवे केतवे नमो नमः। आञ्जनेयाय विद्महे वायुपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमत् प्रचोदयात्। कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात्। तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्र प्रचोदयात्। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमदपतये नमस्ते अस्तु लंबोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा विनायकादि समस्त हरिहर देवताभ्यो नमो नमः। सर्व अपराध क्षमार्धं सर्व मंगल प्राप्त्यर्थं अलंकार पंचमुखदीपं दरुडजामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि। दिव्य रक्षां धारयामि इंद्रस्तोनेन पञ्चदशेन मध्यमिदं वातेन सहरेण रक्षा रक्षां धारयामि। ओं हर ओम। ओके सर।
Namaste. Namaste. Can you hear me?
Yes, Raju.
Dr. Biram, would you introduce a little bit more? I know Radha Biram. We just call him very dearly Radha. And he doesn't want us to talk more about him. He's such a wonderful person and very knowledgeable and very eloquent and so humble. We just would like him to speak more and more, and with great difficulty Dr. Biram and I could convince him to speak to us. May I request everyone to mute, please? Okay. So with great difficulty, me and Dr. Biram could convince him to speak on one of the toughest subjects, the historical aspects or historical perspective of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. Dr. Biram, few words from you, and then Radha Biram.
Thank you, Dr. Raju. Radha is probably, most of you know, is my brother. So he's professor of history, and he has been teaching history all his life. He's well versed with Indian history, well versed with the world history. So the combination of all those with Hinduism, we're very curious to hear what Radha has to say. So we're looking forward to his talk. Radha?
You are muted, Radha. Radha, you are muted. Unmute yourself.
Okay. I'm sorry. So thank you very much, Razgaru. Thank you very much, Anaya, for the introduction. And thank you very much to all participants. So I'm interested. The reason is mightiest empires known to mankind, they conquered all areas. That is the reason they became mightiest. But they could not able to save their religions. They are gone. Even the glorious religion of Roman Empire, you all know Roman Empire, just washed away from under the feet of its legions. They had no control, just disappeared their religion. So that is the reason. But in spite of innumerable conquests India had undergone, how Hinduism able to survive, that is the greatest mystery in human history, in my opinion. So people may say, well, maybe it is coincidence, maybe it is accident. It cannot be. The reason is that long to exist. After that many conquests it had undergone, it cannot be accident. So even though I am not good into religions, but I still strongly believe it happened only because of extraordinary spiritual strength of its core concepts, and even more than that, exceptional scriptural support it had. That what every day I have been listening. So these are lifeguards to Hinduism. So in spite of fate, destiny, God, even if we keep all these things, even scientifically also, nobody can question these two important things: the spiritual strength of the religions, core concepts, and the scriptures that are supporting from times immemorial. So that is the reason. But anyway, but what we have to is, however, in its prolonged period of time, it had to encounter many challenges. These challenges we will touch briefly. Starting from, we all know that Jainism and Buddhism, the first obstacle to Hinduism, and then subsequently Islam and Christianity. But another important challenge, all other religions, this one, conversion was the core concept of all other religions, but not to Hinduism. That was different challenge. So how it could able to confront and come over all these challenges, that is the reason, because it survived, we were able to build temple. We were able to build this temple and exactly offering prayers the way our ancestors did several thousands of years before us. So that is possible because of all this history. Without that, there could have been no temple to us. There could have been no talk on this topic. So that is the reason we have to look into for what reasons it survived. So with that, I want to jump directly into Jainism and Buddhism, but to give an idea, that was the time, just to have an idea, maybe Socrates in Greece, maybe Confucius in China, maybe Zoroaster in our neighboring Persia. So that was the time, 6th century BC. We are starting from 6th century BC. So that was the time Mahavira and Gautama Buddha revolting against Indian Vedic traditions on Indian soil. That was the beginning. Just to imagine charismatic prince leaving his affluent royal palace and family too, to help poor people for the sake of poor people. That is their message. Just imagine how much of an electrifying effect on society. Then again, especially Buddha, he accentuated specifically on human suffering and miseries. The reason is everybody has their own experience with suffering. Hey, there is a remedy for suffering means we will be there. But their explanation, all your miseries, all your misfortunes because of your religion. The reason is, this is all because of your accumulated sins in your previous lives. There is no way you can get rid of it. You convert it to Buddhism, you can get rid of your caste, no miseries, no sin, everything we will take care of. That was the message. So that it had overwhelming response. The reason is because everybody, okay, for what reasons we believe? Belief is okay, it gives us relief, nothing we are losing. Then another important thing is, if you look at it, Buddha emphasized non-violence also, that it evoked very high emotional response. So why it is happening like that? Even non-violence by nature, human beings don't like. Even non-believers, it has nothing to do with the religion. Even maybe non-believer may be very watchful about his step, even to save living ant. So that is the way neurons respond. So we try to avoid to kill that one. But what happens is, it worked as an antidote. It worked as an antidote for animal sacrifices of Vedic people. So it happened that. So because of all these things, for what reasons even agriculture was very important. These Vedic people are sacrificing all animals. It also became very emotional. That is end of it. That is the end of it. Even the king, the ruler of mightiest empire, Ashoka, converted to Buddhism. That was the serious blow. Just I want to understand how many books we read. It doesn't matter. Even it moved Ashoka also. So how electrifying that effect was, how emotional. So just I want you to listen couple of verses from Buddhism translated to Telugu. It is all about glorification of Buddha's sacrifices. తన సుఖ సౌఖ్యాలను త్యజించినాడు, తన సుఖ సౌఖ్యాలను త్యజించినాడు, శోకము అంచు చూసినాడు, బహుజన హితము కోరినాడు, సిద్ధుడు బుద్ధుడైనాడు. Buddham, it goes like that. So it was very emotional thing that impacted the society, and that is the reason it impacted everybody. That is the way. Then what happens is, this is a sad story, bad impediment from Hinduism point of view. This was success of Buddhism. That was different story. Then it took another 500 years. It took another 500 years Hinduism to recoup. That was Gupta's time. Everybody knows in Indian history, the Gupta period, it is known as golden age for Hinduism. Gupta period is known as golden age for Hinduism. For what reasons means? First time, so I will take up while questions that what history says, permanent temple structures started during that time, Gupta's time. Just to understand that one, keep it between 300 and 500 AD. 300 and 500 AD, that is the time beginning of permanent temple structure with the sanctum to keep idols. And then even idols also with all iconographic details of all attributes as described in our scriptures started appearing only from Guptas. And then because of temples and all that celebrations, festivals, even visual performing arts, like any other thing, dance, music, all these things evolved into perfection during that time. All things, all art, architecture, dance, music associated to temple, almost all developed during that time. Even some of the Samudragupta, I don't exactly remember Gupta's emperors, coins, we see their personal instrument they are playing, especially Veena and all that. Then another important contribution, it is very important thing. For the first time, Guptas realized the importance of revising scriptures. They know that even Veda Vyasa revised. If they don't revise, it lose its relevance. The reason for that is, if you see, in the process of evolution, it gets corrupted. Even they may not get the intended message of the author over a period of time. So even just an example, even if you take Shakespeare's English original, we are not comfortable. Even if you go before Shakespeare and start reading Chaucer or somebody, Canterbury Tales original, you may think that it is maybe English or not English. So that is the reason, without revision, the reason is because it was interacting, especially in ancient medieval times, it interacts with so many dialects, influence the other languages and scripts. So I am not script expert, and I don't want to go deep into script. But one thing I wanted to touch, because here in this audience are very well versed, it may help. What Guptas did was, originally in some areas, maybe Gandhara and all that, maybe some in Afghanistan, Sanskrit was written in, that was Kharoshti, the name was Kharoshti. It was written from right to left, Sanskrit, in most of those areas. So it is exactly like today's Hebrew and Arabic. They write from right to left. And then in most of the North Indian areas, they started writing Brahmi. So you see, even if somebody wanted to know what exactly our ancestors wrote, so if you collect all those scriptures, inscriptions, some in Kharoshti, some in Brahmi, and then it converted to Nagari, and then to Devanagari. So I'm not sure if history is what history says is correct. Sanskrit never had its own script. It was only language. So right from the beginning, it is using other scripts in whatever area they wanted to present that information, they used that script. So that is the reason Guptas realized. And for what reason? Probably Vedavyasa realized for same reasons. Guptas realized, maybe even Shankaracharya realized even during his time. It gets lost. We don't get the intended message of the author because of all these interactions with the foreign dialects and all that. So that is an amazing contributions of Gupta. On top of it, we all know Gupta's contribution to literature. Gupta's contribution to literature, it is almost like an explosion of literary creativity. I have no better word than that. It was like an explosion. So right from Kalidasa to Panini, grammarian, and then Vishnu Sharma. So many people are there. So that is the reason. But Patanjali, all the time you say Shastras and all that. Vishnu Sharma, even I don't want to get into details into those scriptures, books, Kalidasa, Abhignana Sakuntalamu, Mudra Rakshasamu, Murcha Katikamu. I don't know what exactly what they say, but unimaginable contribution to literature. So that is the one. So then what happens, because of all these reasons, that became foundation for Hindu traditions and cultures. So most of the Hindu traditions that we are following today originated during the time of Guptas. But this is, now I covered about 300 to 500. So this one, all future Hindu kings followed these traditions of Guptas, and you can't imagine how many structures, so gigantic, magnificent temples all over South India, unimaginable temples. And then all they followed art, architecture, everything, music, dance. So reached its height of perfection, especially in South India, under so many successive dynasties and rulers. So that was not the case with North India. The reason is it was impacted by Muslim invasions. So South India, that is the reason it became unique culture with all temples, temple activities, all performing arts, all kinds of art related to temple reached its perfection in South India. That brought unique culture to that one. So that all the time I see anybody is very well versed in these areas, they might be living in the midst of those temples now in Tamil Nadu or Kerala. If people are away from those traditions and temples, they don't have that much serious involvement or knowledge. So it is like Calcutta was capital of Britishers for pretty long time, if you know that. So that is the reason all universities, everything in Calcutta. So that is the reason we see most educated people only in Calcutta in the beginning. So temples created this kind of intelligence and universities created that I feel. Then now we jump to Islam. Maybe it may not look positive, but there is no way we can reverse history. So Islam, what I can tell you is Indians they could have never imagined, even in their wildest dreams, that at one point of time, Muslims invade India and they become our rulers. We all should live together on Indian soil. Never they could have happened. But what happened? It happened. It happened. That is the history. So what happens if something happens? It's exactly like a human beings. So we never expect a catastrophe, but once it strikes, what we will do? We have no option. Even societies, countries also same thing. So realization, reconciliation, reorganization, reorientation, changing everything to suit new circumstances. So that what happened several hundred years in North India. So especially what happens is while very vicious attacks on temples, that created a feeling of fear and insecurity among people. So because of those reasons, they developed a unique devotional method in North India. So that is individual salvation away from traditional temple rituals and worships and all that. So, okay, God is there. I have my own method to reach God. So that is the devotional, so unique devotion. Then what happens is that it is like a new definition to the concept of devotion. You choose your own God. You choose your own personal God. You totally unconditional surrender to your personal God. And then you try to achieve individual salvation. So that is the method. Then what happened? During that time, Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, that became unimaginable popularity. That is exactly the time situation. It is all about Krishna. It is all about Krishna's Leelas, Gopikas, and all that. Even it translated to so many languages. So what happened was, even subsequently, because of its popularity, subsequently Mirabai came. Even before Mirabai, Chaitanya was there. So that is the background of Krishna tradition becoming popularity in Northern India. Especially I want to take a very interesting thing, because it is a religion's thing. Krishna, the main very popular concept in Gita Govinda, Krishna acquiring multiple forms. Krishna acquiring multiple forms to entertain all gopikas at a time. That was the, even Potana says very eloquently. That one, I wrote somewhere. You see, Prakatascharya vibhuti jache bahurupa vektudai bhargavam. So how he takes multiple forms. So another important thing is, even Krishna songs, their intention, they don't sing like the way we do bhajans. Their intention of bhajans is just to ignite spiritual spark, to take their emotions to the height of devotional ecstasy. So deeply they involve. Very popular, that one is Angana Mangana Mantarena Madhavo Madhavam Madhavam Chantarena Angana Mangana Mantarena Madhavo Madhavam Madhavam Chantarena Iddhama kalpite gopika mandale Iddhama kalpite gopika mandale samdhyado venuna devaki nandana samdhyago venuna devaki nandana Angana Mangana Mantarena Madhavo Madhavam Madhavam Chantarena Angana. So that was, they get immersed, and they really feel that they are in the vicinity of Sri Krishna. Emotionally, they take themselves. So that is the way anything is. So now I want to, I don't know how much time. Then what happens is, next.
10 more minutes.
How
10,
many?
10 more minutes.
Okay. Then we go to 1500. Now from 1000 to 1500 we touched. In 1500, what happens is Indians are dreaming in a different direction. Indians are dreaming in a different direction. That direction is all Muslims' rulings became very weak, so they wanted to regain their power. But it did not happen. The reason is they woke up from their dreams when Babur fired first cannon shot on Indian soil using gunpowder. It shattered their dreams, and that led to the foundation of Mughal Empire. Lasted for a pretty long time. So we are unlucky to have Aurangzeb for such a long time. He could have never been an emperor in the first place, and he killed his brother, who is supposed to be the emperor. He was Dara Shok. The reason for he translated Upanishads to Persian's language. That is the reason. And Akbar was very, very popular. And both Ramayana and Mahabharata, Akbar took interest to translate to Persian. And other very, very popular during that time was Kabir, Nanak, both Muslims, everybody liked that one. So that one, Kabir is very, very popular. He belonged to a lower caste, and he writes his own poems, and he sings his own tunes. If anybody is from North India, maybe they may like Kabir songs. Just to have a feel for that, I will explain that one. Kabir, what he says is, this body is like a pot made of clay, but it makes a lot of noises all the time. But once it breaks, it becomes so silent. Oh God, why I fear for that day. That kind of songs, North India, especially Rajasthan. ही काया में बर्तन माठीरो, ही काया में बर्तन माठीरो, टूटी जाशी नहीं करे रान को। अरे साहिब हमको डार लो एक दिन को, अरे साहिब हमको डार लो एक दिन को, ही खया में। Okay, then that is the one we are done. We are coming to modern period. That is modern period. It is how it deals with how Hinduism and Christianity. So you all know proselytization was the primary motive for British conquests. They wanted to change. Their policy is very easy to understand. Very strong military to control their territories. Very strong missionary to convert Hindus. That was their strategy. But their strategy worked very perfect because of charities. Charities, it attracted all lower caste, poor people. And Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, all other alternative organizations at that time, they did not provide any viable alternative to charities, but they paid more attention on reforming their own religion by taking out all these superstitions and all that. It happened like that. Ramakrishna became very, very popular, and his disciples, especially Vivekananda, very, very popular. But Ramakrishna's universal religion, so that was what you call it jal, water, or pani, water characteristics are not going to change. So that is the reason, why do you worry? They call Allah and all that, they're same God, they say. But he became increasingly conscious of character. The reason is he had to mediate the conflict between Tagore family and Kesava Chandra Sen. That was his personal. So I read in some letters, Goodwin letters. So he became increasingly conscious of especially Vivekananda. The reason is, more he is becoming popular, he is afraid that he may misuse his power. So exactly his concern is so many spiritual leaders in that area, once they become iconic figures, they are self-glorification and self-gratification. And he was very much concerned about Vivekananda because of his growing popularity. So Vivekananda shares this one with Goodwin. He is putting a lot of pressure on me, morals and all that. So he says that you are conscious of your merits, he says, it seems. As long as you are conscious of your merits, that is an obstacle to you between you and God. Whether you are beautiful, whether you are high income group, high knowledge, never you should become conscious of that. So then again, what happens is he gives one small poem. He gives one small poem and asks him to read. That is from Vyasa Bhagavatam. Vyasa himself compares to bird, and comparing God with the sky, and he explains in that Bhagavatam, I have very limited power compared to God's sky. So that is the reason I was able to write very limited about God. So that much of humility, Veda Vyasa showing in his own book Bhagavatam. That one, he reads one time to Vivekananda, then he realizes still he is coming after me. He feels that I don't have humility. So that one is just, that is very wonderful. That one I will tell you. Gati kshayat nivartante nachakasya gunakshayat mati kshayat nivartante na govinda gunakshayat. So I am like a bird. I am flying to some high and I have to come down because I don't have power. So whom I am trying to describe? Almighty God, who is like the sky. So Veda Vyasa is how much humble he is, what kind of knowledge, what kind of merits these people have. Everybody, once they get that one, self-glorification, self-gratification. So that he became very conscious, and that is the reason he made Vivekananda, who ultimately took care of Indian traditions, culture, and religion. That credit first goes to Ramakrishna, and then it goes to Vivekananda. So with that, during the time of question and answers, maybe I may have something else. I will try to explain that one. And thanks again for the opportunity. Appreciate that.
Anup, do you want to chant Hanuman Chalisa, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you for that beautiful talk, Iramji.
Thank you. Thank you.
जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बलधाम अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुवेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा बिराजय कांडे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर समारे, रामचंद्र के काज समारे। लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित ईसा। जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना, राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचर जनाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते। राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुकुल है तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपै, तीनों लोक हांकते कांपै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट हटे मिटे सब पीरा, जपत जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीराम। संकट हटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीराम। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीशा। जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीशा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूपा। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूपा। हृदय बसहु सुर भूपा। हृदय बसहु सुर भूपा। Thank you.
Well, Radha, that was a very eloquent presentation. Thank you for that. And I didn't know that you were such a fantastic singer.
No, Nair sir, if you don't mind, I will take 1 minute because no, I wanted to conclude. I have concluding message, but I wanted to give time to Hanuman Chalis. Just words.
Oh, I'm sure Raju will not have any objection.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I did not want to rush Hanuman Chalisa. That is the reason. Conclusion, this is not my conclusion. So that is the reason I saw somebody exactly that I had in my mind. That kind of questions I am also hearing from this forum. She was an older lady, classical South Indian singer, TV interview that was, television interview. He was asking, what is your message to people? So why people are not enthusiastic in traditional thing, whether it is religion, music, dance, what is the reason you have a message to my audience? That was the question. Then she started singing. So I thought she did not understand the question properly. No, she wanted to sing. So she got emotional. That one is Sri Ramani Kucha Durga Vihare Sri Ramani Kucha Durga Vihare Sevaka Jana Mandira Mandare Sri Ramani Kucha Durga Vihare Sevaka Jana Mandira Mandare. The reason she was singing that song, she was explaining when I was 21 years old, now I am close to 76 years. When I sang for the first time, I saw several hundreds of people in that concert. Very recently, I sang same song. I had to sing that song to 10 people. So, and again, what she told is, she came up with answer after singing a little bit of this. So I wanted to present exactly the same way. She was telling, my grandfather, he used to find fault with all Muslims for our miseries. My father used to find fault with all Britishers for our miseries. For me, I have nobody to find fault. We have to take the fault. If our traditions, we are losing our traditions, there is no way to find others' fault. It is only because of us. So I have no answer to your question that he told. So this may satisfy so many questions that I had in previous sessions also. Thank you so much, Raju Garu. Any questions or anything, whatever way you want to make use of this time?
Yeah, we'll do Mangala Shlokas and then we can have questions and answers for about good 10 to 12 minutes. Dr. Biram will moderate the questions.
Okay, thank you.
Anup, can you do the Mangala Shloka?
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om. Thank you.
Radha, I cannot praise you. there may be a bias if I praise you. I just want to read a couple of comments that came on the chart. Very scholarly, melodious, great historical perspective, melodious singing, especially Kabir's poem, a very insightful history. So fantastic session. So those are the comments that you have there. So it's open for questions
Thank you, Anu. Thanks.
and comments.
Radha, you don't know me.
I know you.
Okay.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I closed my eyes, sometimes I thought Madhava was talking. And now I know both Madhava and Radha both are good singers. I didn't know that before. I was listening to your historical perspective, and it reminded me of our Vedantic philosophy. Life is mostly dukkham, interspersed briefly with sukham. Our religion, our Sanatana Dharma, went through mostly periods of difficulties with occasional sparks of brilliance and prosperity. With all that history behind us, and you being a history professor, we got independence now, 72 years ago. You know, we just celebrated Republic Day yesterday, becoming a totally independent republic. Have we learned the lessons of history? You yourself lamented that our children no longer seem to be as interested as before, and that lady lamenting, you know, she sang that song for, you know, hundreds of people, now only 10 people. And to what extent, after independence, we have tried to correct some of the wrongs, you know, are we still kind of stuttering along the same path? What history lessons can you tell for the current leadership to whether right the wrongs or even to move forward with a positive energy, promote Sanatana Dharma, which really, a lot of times I feel a diamond in the rough for most of the people. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is a very complex thing. But I don't have specific answer to that. So that is the reason I try to understand from all perspectives. So if we read Darwin's self-preservation is the main thing of in human genes. So in whatever Bhagavad Gita, how many times we teach the genetic human background of self-preservation, more we need. That is the way species preserve themselves. So that is ultimately good for the survival of the species in a longer run. So how many times you try to inject all kinds of morals. That what I told, how Ramakrishna was very conscious of those things. So it is, as long as we are human beings, it certainly, we should not leave it. We should not leave it. Nothing we can do. That is not the way. But we try to influence. But we have to try to understand the genetic impact of self-preservation. Human beings are like that. So what all others teaching, they don't know how to make money and they tell all stories. So that is the reason. I don't know more. It leads to more questions if we try to answer that kind of questions. I always appreciate your clarity on any topic.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
So, okay, go ahead, sir. So if you don't have questions, and I have one thing to tell. The reason is I have been listening to everybody in this forum for a pretty long time. So just I wanted to tell because it is historical perspective you asked, it may be more appropriate for me to answer this, even though I don't get any questions. From crude primitive tools to COVID vaccines, it is all because of human experiments, human inventions. We reached from that stage to this stage. All these experiments with nature means elements. So on which we don't have any control. We can neither create nor destroy, but we are totally reliant, dependent on that, but they are not available exactly in the form that we needed. So we have to convert, we have to experiment, we have to invent, right from bow, right from fishnet to this one, GPS, drones, anything is invention. So what my feeling is, that is God's job is creation. God creates, human invents. Two separate jobs. So that may be the reason. I heard some of you talking about Bhagavad Gita. God all the time glorifies himself, but also repeatedly reminds human responsibility. Hey, your job is to invention. You stop doing that, you don't grow, you don't invent anything, your life stagnates, your progress stagnates, you don't invent. So that is the reason God gave us all faculties he gave us. So that is the reason how life came, somebody says, what I say is, what is the inertia in science? Science inertia, it is unless, what science says, unless some external force acts upon it, there is no movement, there is no motion in this universe. So everywhere, this external force is acting somehow or other, whether we can understand or not. But how about small life, womb, from where I am getting my energy, why I am not in the state of inertia, from where I am getting this energy, that nobody knows. That is the reason we believe in God, some source is there. So that is the way, human responsibility, human, the creator's responsibility, creator. So if we keep quiet and blame God, nothing will progress. And so still we have 4 minutes, according to my time. Anybody has any question?
This is Raju.
But thanks, Raju.
A wonderful session, and it's no less than what I expected it to be. Then my question is, this is bothering me a little bit. Sanskrit language. I know even at that time, nobody was talking Sanskrit, maybe some more than what now. But what was the influence of other languages on Sanskrit and the books through Islamic and British rules?
So here the question, what I understand is, Britishers' role is only to recover those scriptures wherever it is buried, somewhere it is lost. So that is the one that they did. So that one is unimaginable contributions of Britishers to bring our own traditional books to us. So that amazing job they did. Not only that, Rajgaru, most important thing we have to understand is sometimes only people like you can tell that one. The reason is Brahmi script for pretty long time, even till Gupta's time, means it is almost like a 500 AD. Brahmi script. Nobody was able to decipher and read that one till one 26 years old John Prinsep from British, he was doing some job. he deciphered that one. That is the reason we were able to read Ashoka's inscriptions, Brahmi script. So you asked me a question. I am coming back with my question to answer that one. Why in India, script written in Brahmi, nobody, it was just lying on Ashokan pillars, stone pillars. Nobody was able to read because it is lost. But people who afterwards Nagari came, Devanagari came, hey, what happened? This one, let us go back and see, study. No, British people invented. That is the reason we know about Ashoka. Most of the information we know about Ashoka because of that reason. So unimaginable contribution in bringing out that one. In ancient times, they had nothing to do with any Sanskrit contributions or anything.
Thank you. Thank you. And last question. When can we have the next session by you?
I will talk to you, Razgar.
Thank you. Shubharatri.
It's 8 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Radha.
Yeah, thanks.
Shubharatri. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Radhanka.
Thanks.
Enjoyed it, Shubharatri.
Thanks.
Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Very good presentation, Radha Garu. Thank you.
Thanks, Venkatarajan.
और बढ़िया क्या लगा लेक्चर
చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు
మనం ఇంకో దాంట్లో పోవాలి
వెళ్తారు వెన్స్డే
शाबाश 6 लोगों पर लाड़ के दो भाई